Have you ever struggled to discern God's will? Have you ever felt unsure about your life's purpose? Zechariah and Elizabeth must have known what this was like. They lived without children of their own in a culture and time when children were everything. They must have felt a little lost and a little without a purpose at times, wondering what plans God had for them. Perhaps they might also have been tempted to feel that God had forgotten them, or that God just didn't care. Though Zechariah and Elizabeth probably felt uncertain about God's plans for their life, in one instant they receive a message from the angel Gabriel that is stunningly clear. Gabriel says, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard." These 11 words tell Zechariah in unmistakable terms that God never stopped caring for Elizabeth and for him. God listened to all those years of prayers and has known the deepest desires of their hearts. But also hidden in this angelic announcement is the truth that Zechariah never stopped trusting in God. He prayed to God and lived faithfully even in the face of his and Elizabeth's disappointment. Though they might have been tempted to feel isolated from God, they continued to hope and to trust in God. This attitude of trust in God's care is the solid foundation for us too, especially when we are faced with the important stuff of our own lives. In fact, without the belief of God's active presence in our life, caring for us and loving us, we're all too inclined to go it alone, to make decisions that we know would be better made in conversation with the God who made us and knows us better than we know ourselves. Though God doesn't usually speak to us in such obvious ways as Gabriel did to Zechariah, God does speak gently in the quiet of our hearts. If we listen carefully, we may hear this gentle invitation. Why don't you talk with me about the important stuff of your life? This gentle, loving voice is a voice we can trust. And trust is where discernment begins. Hi, I'm Father Greg Celio.
And I'm Father Matthew Pierce. And we are part of the Jesuits West Vocation Promotion Team.
A vocation requires discernment, and so we're making a 7-part mini-series on discernment using the Christmas story as a lens on decision-making.
We all have choices to make in life, and some of those choices are life-altering.
What we need to do is to open ourselves up to God, because God's Spirit always leads us to what's good.
And the characters in the Christmas story reveal ways to recognize God at work. St. Ignatius taught us that we can find God in all things. So we want to help you learn how to let God influence your decisions.
Each week, we'll present a different aspect of discernment. So click subscribe to stay updated. Thanks.